Mr. President, my question is about Syria. We keep hearing assurances from Moscow that there will be some rapprochement between Moscow and Washington regarding the dialogue in Syria and the solution there, a peaceful one. And then we heard today that Mr. Kerry accepted or approved the arming of the what he called the moderate groups in Syria. How do you see that a peaceful settlement could be reached through the Security Council or through the United Nations or through the dialogue between Moscow and Washington, where the army continues unabated on that conflict?
Well, first of all, I think that you sort of did not phrase the first part of your question very accurately. I don't know where you heard what you call assurances from Russia of some rapprochement with the United States and Syria. We have given no such assurances. Yes, we have said and we have acted in this manner that we are prepared to continue our contacts with the United States on the situation in Syria. In fact, I believe that next week another meeting between Mikhail Bogdanov and Bill Burns will happen somewhere in Europe, another discussion of the situation in Syria. But we make no secret of the fact that our views of the situation and the way to deal with that continue to differ in major ways. And one aspect of it has been reflected by the recent announcement of the United States, including involving the plan to enhance their assistance, their help to the armed groups. And we made a statement by the Foreign Ministry expressing our concern that it is leading us away from the direction which is required in order to establish a dialogue between the government and the opposition. And we believe that the main effort of the international community, which has been the main effort of the Russian diplomacy, is to try to establish dialogue between the government and the opposition in accordance with the Geneva document of June 30, 2012. So some differences continue to exist. However, if what our American partners are telling us is true, that they are also encouraging the opposition to enter into dialogue, then it may well be that our contacts with them about the situation in Syria are not entirely meaningless. That, in fact, it may well be that those contacts, among other things, together with the activities of Lakhdar Brahimi and other international activities aimed at dialogue, may eventually result in establishing this dialogue between the government and the opposition, because let's face it, without a dialogue, nothing positive can happen in Syria. Please, sir.
Thank you. Ambassador, could you identify for us if you plan, first of all, a new initiative on Syria to use the time of your presidency for that? And secondly, can you identify a kind of a common thread or common theme with which you will use these 4 weeks of your presidency?
We are not preparing any new initiatives in the Security Council on Syria currently. But it's something which may change, but at this point I can tell you we are not preparing anything. And the common theme, no, we don't have a common theme. We do have, it's rather hard to have a common theme when you have so many different issues on your lap. But the main event I've indicated to you, this is going to be open debate on Afghanistan, that's for sure. Ministerial level open debate. We expect some ministers from the Security Council member states, some ministers outside of the Security Council, and generally speaking, we believe that this is a good time to assess the situation in Afghanistan. As you know, Afghanistan is entering a particularly important phase in its development. A year from now, a little more than that, there are going to be presidential elections, then foreign forces are supposed to withdraw sometime in 2014. What is going to happen next? So very important issues, and in which the stakes are very high, are involved, and in our view, it is a good time to have a serious discussion about it in the Security Council. Please.
Regarding the situation in the UNDOF area, of course you are discussing it this month. There were reports that some armed elements go to Israel, get treatment there, get training, get weapons, and then come back into Syria escorted maybe by the Israelis through the UNDOF operations area, unintercepted, unhindered. How do you view that? Are you going to raise this in the Security Council?
Well, you know, you phrased your question in a very detailed way. I'll answer it in a more general way. The fact that there are armed groups in the UNDOF deployment area on the Golan Heights is, of course, a very new and dangerous phenomenon. They're not supposed to be there. But unfortunately, there is nothing in the UNDOF mandate which allows them or equips them to deal with that situation, because they are unarmed observers. And it's, of course, something very dangerous that they are doing by, you know, staging armed activity from that area. It's something which potentially can undermine security between Syria and Israel. So whoever is supporting that kind of activity, or sort of approving tacitly that kind of activity, is playing a very dangerous game.
Shouldn't that be mentioned in the United Nations reports when it comes to the safety in the area?
I suppose it should be mentioned, and I think we have discussed it in consultation. This is a serious problem to which the Secretariat does not have a good answer now, because it's not you know, it's not obvious what one can do. You cannot equip UNDOF or change the mandate to an extent which would allow them to take them up. This is not their obligation. As you know, some countries even pulled out their contingents because of the heightened danger in that area. But this is a really extremely dangerous game which is being played.
Regarding Lebanon, of course, this month you are discussing 1701. The report shows no indication, or not, it doesn't mention anything regarding these turmoils that's happening in Sidon, the Salafi groups from north to south, also the incursions that's taking place even today in South Lebanon. How do you view this Lebanese situation with regard to the spread of the Syrian crisis into it and the Salafi elements working on the ground?
Well, clearly, Lebanon is in danger zone in terms of the crisis in Syria. That's for sure. And all those things are going to be discussed in consultation of the Security Council on the 14th. Any other questions?